then that's all right. Today, I want to talk about one main point and three other points, important points, but no, I will not talk too much about them because that's not the purpose for today. The main point for today is Ebola. We have discussed in the government and with the scientists who want to guide you on Ebola. And with Ebola, I will read later on a prepared speech by the Minister of Health, which is here. But before that, I will, in the Kinansko way, our bush way, summarize for you the main points about the Ebola. But then I will read the statement prepared by the ministry. Then I will touch briefly on Emyoga. I was meeting those young people today, and I will talk briefly about it. And then I will ask the Prime Minister I will talk a little bit about the parish development model. Then I asked the Prime Minister to say something about one aspect of the parish development model. And then I will tell those people to bring my package. Abom chiyungu bandetere mhogo yanji mhogo naka ya mhogo. Now, regarding the Ebola, it is true that Ebola is a dangerous disease. When you get it, it's quite serious. The other time, some time ago, when there was Ebola, out of 100 people who got it, 53 died. So it's quite a serious disease, but the body can fight it. If you get it, you should go to hospital quickly, because apart from the virus, what normally kills people apparently are things like high temperature, vomiting, so that you lose water. Yesterday we were being told in the cabinet that that's what eventually damages the internal organs, the temperature which the body is not used to, and the dehydration, the loss of fluids. So if you are in the hospital can balance those. They can give you intravenous, they can control temperature, then the body can fight the virus. So it is an aggressive disease. However, the good news is that it is not as infectious as corona, the one we have been fighting with. The big problem with corona is that it goes through breathing, airborne. It is airborne. when I sit with you, near you, and you near me, through breathing, you can infect me. Or I can infect you. But that's not and that's where Corona was dangerous. Because you sit in the car, in a taxi, and you get it through breathing. You sit in a nightclub, you get it. In the church, you get it. In the school, because it is going through air. Now, the good thing with Ebola is that it does not go through the air, through breathing. It goes through contact. Contact. My body to be in touch with yours, and the fluids from you or me to reach you. Sweat, saliva. If you have sex, feces and other excretions, blood transfusion, but contact. But even there, it is not as infectious, because even if fluids from somebody get on my skin, get on my skin, if the skin doesn't have cuts, I will not be infected. The only problem will come if I touch where the sick person smeared me with something, then I touch my eyes or my mouth or my nose, the soft parts of the body. That's when the virus will now enter me. So therefore, we who are used to fighting wars, when we had these characteristics of the enemy, the Ebola, we decided that this time we shall fight differently. It's not necessary to have lockdowns, to close schools, to stop you from going to churches, to the markets, traveling. Now, there's also another characteristic which shapes our strategy. Because number one, I've told you, it doesn't go by air. It doesn't go through breathing. Number two, so it only infects by contact. But number two, even with contact, it cannot go through every part of the body. It goes only through a few areas of the body. The eyes, the mouth, the nose, the soft parts. Otherwise, here on the skin, it can stay there. And if I don't transfer it by touching myself, it will stay there until it will not infect me. But there is another weakness on the side of the virus, number 3, which shapes our strategy. This is that although it stays in the body for a number of days, I think it stays in the body for 21 days or something, somebody said, it can be there, but not showing itself. But apparently, before the virus starts showing signs, it's not infective. It only becomes infective once you start showing signs like temperature, vomiting, and all that. Oh, it is now those 3 things that shape our strategy. If it is not going through the air, if even when it gets on your skin, it doesn't infect you unless it goes through the soft parts of the body. If it doesn't infect until you start showing signs, and one of the signs is temperature, then it is easy to fight this enemy. That's why, therefore, we decided that we shall not have lockdowns. It's not necessary to have lockdowns. We just need to take care of a few things. So that's why, therefore, let me read what the ministry has prepared here, and then I will add on. I am here to talk to you about another disease outbreak in the country. While we are still battling COVID-19, the Minister of Health has informed me that we have cases of Ebola in the districts of Mubende, Chejegwa, and Kasanda. The initial case was a 24-year-old male from Ngabano village, Madudu sub-county, Madudu sub-county, Mubende district. This person was seen on the 15th of September, 2022, at Mbende Regional Referral Hospital. He was found to have signs and symptoms that included fever, diarrhea, vomiting, chest pain, pain and swallowing, and dry cough. He was isolated and given supportive treatment while investigations were going on. On the 17th September 2022, he developed yellowing and bleeding from the eyes. He also informed the healthcare workers that some people had died from his village with similar symptoms. This prompted the healthcare workers to take off blood for analysis for viral hemorrhagic fever, specifically Ebola, and dispatch a team to his village to verify the information. Unfortunately, we lost this man on the 19th of September 2022, the day that his sample was confirmed positive for Ebola. As of yesterday, 27th September 2022, there were 24 confirmed cases of Ebola virus and 5 deaths from the districts of Mubende, Kyejegwa, and Kasanda. And these were so 5 people are the ones who have died. You have been seeing in the press wonderful monitor newspaper, the one which works for the enemy. They have been proclaiming, I don't know how many have died, I don't know how many, but the people who have died here are 5. Now the 24 confirmed cases. I don't know whether the 24 included the 5 who died or they included the 5. So 24 people confirmed, 5 of them dead. That means infected but not dead, 19. I'm sitting here with all the powerful people of the ministry. There's Dr. Jenna Chen, there's Dr. Diana Twine, there's Dr. Mwewesa. From here you go to heaven. There's another place. When you go from this, there's no other address. If you want health matters, there's no other place. Then I also have the Prime Minister here. I have Nankabirwa to support my Uganda, and I have my young sister, Joyce Sebugwao, and some other powerful persons whom I don't have to disturb you with. So the people, the cases, and these people I saw on the Ageesigika, quoting wrong figures from Monitor. So the case is 24 confirmed, 5 dead. 6 health workers, 4 doctors, 1 anesthetist, and 1 medical student exposed to the index case. What is index case? The first one. Between 15th and 18th, have tested positive to Ebola and are being managed at Mbende and Fort Portal referral hospitals. They are being treated. That's what, you know, when I read the document of the Ministry of Health, I must keep localizing their word. Management as if they are managing a bank. For us in our language, we say they are being treated. They are being treated. The table below shows a breakdown of confirmed cases and death by district and sub-county. I have them here. Mubende, Madudu sub-county, confirmed cases 11, dead 5. Mbende municipality, cases 5, dead nobody. Kasambia 1, 0 death. Chiviringa 1, nobody died. Chitenga 1, nobody died. Then in Chejegwa, Kasule sub-county, 3 cases, nobody died. Kasanda sub-county, 2 cases, nobody died. So 24 people infected, 5 are the ones who are dead. In addition to the Ebola 5 confirmed deaths, there are 19 individuals who died in the community after showing similar signs. Since they died at home, we do not have opportunity to test them. I'm told that the current transmission in Madudu sub-county in Mbende district and in other districts appears to be driven by exposure at barriers and family interactions following the death of people suspected to have succumbed to Ebola. This is the first time in more than a decade that Uganda is reporting an outbreak of Sudan Ebola virus that last occurred in Nyimbwa sub-county, Ruwero district in 2012. The last Ebola outbreak in the country, which was in Kasese district, was of the Zaire strain and was imported from Congo in 2019. This outbreak was controlled without any community spread. Actually, this disease may not spread so much because the brief I read was that these first cases in Madudu were first reported on the 6th of August, 6th or something like that, or 5th, 6th. So this is more than a month ago, almost 2 months. And these people just kept quiet at home until this fellow who came to the hospital. So you can see it's not really that, it confirms, because this is 2 months. If it was our other problem, Corona, I think we would be having bigger numbers. But this, the first case, no, is it the one who died? The first who died in the village, whom they kept quiet about. Jenny, you explain that.
Those are the 19 whom we didn't test, who had signs and symptoms in the village, but we didn't confirm.
So those are the ones of the 6th?
Yes, from the 6th.
What is Ebola? Ebola is an acute disease caused by a virus and is deadly if left untreated or if treatment is delayed. It is transmitted through contacts as follows: person-to-person transmission through contact with body fluids from an infected person, such as blood, saliva, sweat, urine, feces, sexual fluids, etc. Contact with objects that have been contaminated with body fluids like blood, feces, vomit from an Ebola-infected person, or a person who died from Ebola. Contact with secretions of infected animals such as fruit bats, chimpanzees, gorillas, monkeys. Eating meat from wild animals found dead or sick. especially monkeys, chimpanzees, gorillas. Those cultures of eating those same humans, because gorillas are like human beings. So why some people eat their relatives, I can't understand. I've got cows, some of our people have got goats. So people, muveko bazita batya? Bazita batya mu Luganda?
Okulya amazike.
Amazike, those are gorillas. Naye buno
Enkima.
Enkima, muve ku enkima bannange. Enkima si za kulya. Symptoms of Ebola. A suspected case of Ebola may present with any or some or all of the following symptoms: sudden onset of fever, fatigue, chest pain, pain and swallowing, diarrhea, vomiting, unexplained bleeding from any body opening, e.g. ears, nose, mouth, eyes, anus, bleeding from body openings, mouth, nose, eyes, also bleeding under the skin, which is usually a late symptom. This bleeding comes much later. So please don't wait for the bleeding. Start with the temperatures. I think those are the other signs. Temperatures and pain in swallowing. Ebola can be prevented by doing the following. Wash your hands with soap and water, or use alcohol-based sanitizer. Bikole ebyo, those work. Avoid contact with body fluids from any person or animal suspected of being infected with Ebola. Clean all potential contaminated surfaces with chlorine solution. All people suspected or confirmed to have died of Ebola should be accorded supervised, safe, and dignified burial. Report all cases with signs and symptoms to the nearest health facility. History of Ebola outbreaks in Uganda. Several Ebola outbreaks have been reported in Uganda since its discovery in 1976. 2000 Gulu, Masindi and Mbarara, 2007 Bundubujo, 2011 Ruwero, 2012 Chibare, 2015 Kasese. Prior to the West African Ebola outbreak, 2014-2016, the Gulu outbreak in the year 2000 was known to be the biggest and most complex Ebola outbreak in the world, with 425 confirmed cases and 224 deaths, including 31 health workers. However, it now ranks number 3 after the West African problem and the DRC 2018-2019 outbreaks. The Sudan Ebola virus is one of the 6 known strains of Ebola. Of these 6, only 4 are known to cause disease in humans: Zaire, Sudan, Bundubujo, and Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. The first known outbreak of Sudan Ebola virus was reported in 1976 in Nzara, in the then Sudan, now South Sudan, infecting 284 people and killing 151. Since then, there have been 6 outbreaks of the Sudan Ebola virus, with 2 occurring in Sudan, 1979 and 2004, and 4 in Uganda, 2000, Gulu, 2011, Luero, 2012, Chibale, and now, 2022. Ebola can be treated. Interventions can be fought. A rapid response team was immediately deployed in the Greater Mbende region to carry out an immediate assessment and support the response. Based on information from this team, the Ministry of Health has classified the country into three risk zones. Category 1, very high risk, Mubende, Chejegu, and Kasanda districts. Category 2, high risk, not very high risk, but high risk. The districts bordering Category 1 districts, namely Kakumiro, Chenkwanzi, Kiboga, Mtiana, Chibale, Kazo, Gomba, Sembabule, and Chinjonjo districts. Kampala and Wakiso are also included in the category because of ease of movement and trade. Category 3, the rest of the country. I'm informed by experts that previously handled Ebola outbreaks in Gulu, Bundubujo, Chibale, and Ruero have been deployed to Mubende, Kasanda, and Chejego district to manage patients and control the spread of the outbreak. The Ebola treatment unit at Mbende Regional Referral Hospital is currently at 51 bed capacity for confirmed cases and 8 beds for suspect cases. Since most of the Ebola cases are coming from Madudu sub-county, which is the epicenter, government has decided to set up an additional Ebola treatment unit of 30 beds at Madudu Health Center 3. This is to avoid the 30-kilometer distance of transferring patients to Mbende Regional Referral Hospital and to improve early patient care and management. To facilitate this, government will immediately connect Madudu sub-county to the national electricity grid to provide power to the sub-county and the health center. Furthermore, a solar-powered borehole will be sunk at Madudu Health Center 3 to provide running water. Currently, samples are being tested at the Uganda Virus Research Institute in Entebbe with a turnaround time of results of 24 hours. This is not good for the response because time is lost during the transportation of samples. The Minister of Health has informed me that by Friday, 30th September 2022, 2 mobile diagnostic laboratories will be deployed at Mbende district. This will shorten the turnaround time of sample processing and improve timely patient care. Vaccination against Ebola, Sudan Ebola virus. I'm told that there is no approved vaccine for the Sudan Ebola disease. However, there are several vaccines for the Ebola Sudan undergoing trials. The government is exploring all options to get a safe and effective vaccine as quickly as possible. I will update the nation as soon as this becomes available. There is a vaccine for Ebola Zaire. and we have already given it to our soldiers who are operating in Congo. Therefore, one of the issues we were debating the other day was why not use the vaccine of Ebola Zaire, even though it's not specific for Ebola Sudan, but it is Ebola. So some of they share some of the characteristics, and we are discussing that. Why not? And it is safe. We found that it is safe because people are already using it, and we have used it on our soldiers. So, is there any harm in trying it? We are discussing that. And also these ones which are being experimented for Ebola Sudan. So even if it is being experimented, it can be used. I want to reassure Ugandans and all residents that the government has got capacity to control this outbreak, as we have done before. Therefore, there is no need for anxiety, panic, restriction of movement, or unnecessary closure of public places like schools, markets, places of worship, etc. as of now. That one I have already told you that this disease doesn't need those big measures of closing and restricting movement. Our healthcare workers will do all it takes to save lives and bring the situation under control. I call upon the public to cooperate with the healthcare workers and report anybody with signs and symptoms similar to that, to those of Ebola. So you have heard that really this virus we can fight it more easily than corona, because number one, it does not go through the air, through breathing. The breathing one is a problem. You know this for Senyiga, for this common cold. You sit in the car, even you sit in a room like this, somebody will give you Senyiga, common cold. But this one is not in that group. It's a little bit like AIDS. You remember when AIDS came, people were running around, tourists were not coming. Tourists were not coming. I said, but why are tourists not coming? Oh, there is AIDS. AIDS is found in only certain addresses. You don't go there, you don't get it. So how can that be a problem? I told the tourists, if you come here for tourist activities, there is no way you will get AIDS, unless you include non-tourist diversions. But actually, this disease is even easier, and you saw how we manage the AIDS. But this one is even easier than AIDS, because like AIDS, it doesn't go through air. So they are the same. No going through air. Number two, doesn't go through a healthy skin. Again, AIDS goes through certain parts of the body. But the difference which makes this one easier to fight is that